What sort of meat is it that they use in these things? Well, not always the greatest meat, quite frankly. Things like pork belly, which I've got there, which is a really fatty meat. Can you see that? Yeah. Great, thick band of fat.
Know how it feels.
Pork cheeks, pig's tail, and even trotters can all find their way into processed pork products.
What I've got here is some molten lard. Now, this represents the fat content in all of these poor cuts of meat and all the pastry that it's wrapped in. And that is 203 teaspoons of fat that you're getting. Saturated fat is what puts your cholesterol levels up, and it's what raises your risk of heart disease and stroke, and you are getting 2.5 times the recommended amount.
Jo's also getting 2.5 times the recommended amount of salt in her diet, and nearly 30% of this comes from all the processed meat she eats.
Your average pork pie, full of meat or not really?
Probably not.
Probably not. Well, look, I've got a packet that these have come from here. Meat content, pork pie, 21%.
Because of this low meat content, sausages, sausage rolls and pork pies can be bulked out with rusk, and processed ham and bacon can be awash with added water. And a pork pie wouldn't be a pork pie without some boiled up skin and bone, also known as gelatin.
Because you like sausages as well, the skin of the sausages is this stuff. And do you know what that's made of? This is cow collagen, essentially, sort of connective tissue. So you're getting a lot of bits of animals that you probably weren't expecting in your diet, aren't you?
Yeah.
One more ingredient that we haven't mentioned, and that is these have a long shelf life, and that's because there's preservatives. Sodium nitrite is probably the more commonly used preservative, so I'm going to bung some of that in. Sodium nitrite has raised various questions over the years, because we know if it's used to preserve something like bacon and you're burning bits of it, we know that that burning, combined with the sodium nitrite, combined with the acid in your stomach, can produce carcinogens, and it will raise your risk of certain cancers. So it's not really ideal. Buy fresh meat and you're going to avoid the preservatives.
With such huge quantities come serious health risks.
Let's look at this one first. Lovely, clean, healthy intestine, nice pink colour, lots of blood supply. This, however, you can see there's a rather obvious problem there. You've got a growth, and that's a cancer. That's a bowel tumour. Anything above about 50 grams of processed meat a day will increase your risk of bowel cancer. You are having about 250 grams of processed meat a day. So as well as the salt and the fat putting up your risks of heart disease and stroke, the processed meat quantities are also increasing your risk of bowel cancer.
It's quite scary to think that could be me.
Coming up, former anorexic Rosemary relives just how close to death she became.
Liver failed, you know, my heart has failed, and I had to have dialysis because my kidneys failed.
And Jo opens up.
It's quite hard to tell somebody that I've only just met things like that, and when I can't even tell my family.
It's the end of the first day in the diet swap for takeaway queen Jo Palmer and meal dodger Emma Hughes.
Thank you. I'm really sorry. Goodness me. There you go.
On the menu tonight, kebab and chips versus egg on toast and squash all round.
I feel sick just looking at it.
So just try your best.
Is that lamb?
Yeah.
Oh, is it lamb and chicken?
Yeah, it's mixed. Do you like chicken?
I don't really eat chicken from a takeaway or anything because I don't know, like, if it's been cooked right.
I don't think Emma put any effort into it at all. She just instantly took a dislike into it and just pushed it around a plate. We're in this together, and if I've got to try, then she's got to try. At least she's got something on her plate. Really enjoy egg on toast, but probably wasn't enough.
Should have been a bit more, shouldn't there?
Seeing Emma struggle, Jo has started to realise just how off-kilter her portion sizes are.
It's quite scary to think that I consume that much.
I don't think anybody would be able to finish one of those without feeling sick afterwards.
Because we eat as a family, my boys would have something like that as well, so I feel quite ashamed that I actually feed my family that crap.
Yeah. I probably wouldn't feed this to my dog.
No doggy bag tonight then, even though Emma has nearly as much left as she started with. It's day 2 in the feeding clinic, and Jo and her rumbling tummy mean business.
I don't feel Emma has tried, but this morning over breakfast I'm going to really try and push her. If I can't help her, then I feel like a bit of a failure myself. You looking forward to breakfast this morning, Emma?
No.
That's going to be a difficult bowl of cereal, 4 slices of toast and coffee then.
I can hear milk.
I have only just put the milk in that so you can eat it now.
Thanks. Sorry, but you've got nothing again.
It's okay. Although you did really well yesterday, I don't think you tried as probably hard as we could try.
I'm trying, but it is really hard.
You're doing really well. It's hard from my point of view as well. Hard to watch you get upset. You're not fueling yourself up properly, are you, with food? No, it's a good spoonful of the milk and cereal, not just the cereal. Down the hatch.
It's getting really hard to chew now.
Defeated by the cereal, Emma attempts half a slice of toast.
I don't think I can eat much more.
I think you could try and finish that slice. Do you?
I'm done. There is no way I can eat any more.
You have done really well today.
I don't even think I can chew this last bit.
The diet swap is pushing Emma to her limits as she's having to face up to her complicated relationship with food.
Don't come in. What's the matter, mate?
It just really upsets me to hear you think that I'm trying.
I can see you trying, I just don't... thinking you're pushing yourself as far as you could. You did really well today. And I'm really proud of you. You should be proud of yourself, Emma.
Yeah, but it's so hard. I feel really bad as well because you're sitting there with nothing.
But you're pushing me by not giving me anything. And if we can't stick together and do this together, then why are we here?
Yeah.
A hug.
When she said she was proud of me, that made me feel a lot better, and I am going to give it my best shot now, and obviously I'm going to do it for her as much as anything, so...
Dr. Christian's concerned that Emma has issues around food that need to be resolved before she can make real changes to her diet.
Emma, I just wanted to have a catch up with you about these whole issues of where your eating habits may have stemmed from. Have you thought a little bit more about it?
Yeah, I was thinking, obviously, when I was little, my parents were very strict with me. Finishing a meal was a big deal. If we didn't finish it, it was not a very good thing.
Yeah, sure. So you think perhaps sort of subconsciously you're slightly rebelling against all of that?
Yeah, I suppose instead of being a naughty kid, I was the good girl, but I found something else to take control of, which was food. I think it's just become part of a habit now, and I need to leave the habit.
Your behaviour is very much a sort of psychological pattern behaviour as a result of something. I think that almost certainly is the start of it, and now you've just got so used to running on empty, as it were. You know, your stomach has shrunk down, your metabolism has slowed right down, everything is adapted to deal with your tiny little calorie intake. Do you think this is something you're going to be able to change now that you've sussed that out?
I think now I know that it's actually a reason it's in my head, then I think I'll definitely be able to move on and sort myself out.
Emma's having to confront her own unhealthy relationship with food for the first time. For former anorexic Rosemary Marston, her issues with food took her to the brink.
The real crash point in terms of the lowest weight was in 2001. Because it was such a drastically low weight, I would collapse, go into a coma. I started to lose my vision. My hearing went completely. Liver failed. You know, my heart has failed, and I had to have dialysis because my kidneys failed.
Eating disorders put a serious strain on the body. Every organ is at risk because all the tissues in the body need nourishment or they will fail. Other serious problems include collapse, fitting or death caused by low blood sugar or low salt.
Rosemary spent 30 years of her life in a vicious circle of crisis, hospital treatment and relapse.
I think the biggest problem for me was I had no concept at all that I was doing myself any harm. It just became a completely warped understanding of what I thought people wanted me to be. So if they saw me looking thinner last time, then they'd expect me to look even thinner this time.
Janet Treasure is one of the UK's leading eating disorder specialists and treated Rosemary for a decade.
Rosemary was very ambivalent about help. One of the classical problems of anorexia is that these patients say, I don't suffer, therefore I'm not ill.
Over the years, Rosemary's battle with anorexia intensified.
Between 2004 and 2007, I was permanently in hospital. I would come out and within weeks be back in again. Food just never happened at all outside of hospital.
Rosemary became very close to death. Her thinking was so unclear that she couldn't recognise that. And in order to safeguard her health, we had to use the Mental Health Act, so she had no choice about whether to come into hospital or not.
Rosemary's road to recovery began when she was assigned a specialist key worker.
She said to me, I just want you to have a better life. And that's the one and only time where I heard somebody say that to me and actually processed it. And I thought, well, I've got nothing to lose. I could give it a go.
It was a gradual process, but since that moment, Rosemary has turned her life around.
There is definitely a key to recovery, and that's planning. It's not an option to miss food. It's not an option to make your life easy by resisting food. And I think